Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. I hope everybody's doing okay tonight. I'll tell you what. Uh, wow, they are putting out articles about the Mar-a-Lago search on the regular media, just alerts on Google and Yahoo News. Not one word about the authorization to use. I got to watch the words I use now. Force, that is Lee, and then Thal. D-E-A-D, Lee, force. Okay, not one word about it. They come up with every other thing about the Mar-a-Lago raid, about Jack Smith, and people are suspecting. People in the know are suspecting that Judge Eileen Cannon is going to throw this whole mess out. And plus, we're going to talk about what's going on in New York City. And what happened, a little more about what happened yesterday, and the defense rested today. Donald Trump didn't testify. Let me see. Damon's here. Andrew, how you doing? Bubba, White Lightning, Diane, Kim, Debbie. Bubba, I'm glad to see you here, buddy. I hope you're doing all right. Frank, you're one of the founders, Bubba. Gloria. Yeah, we get Robin in here and bunch of the older peeps that used to show up, Aaron and different folk. Hi, Angela. Hi, Kim. I feel like I've gone back in time. Who did I leave out? Gloria, Bubba, Diane, Frank. Yeah, everybody's rolling in good. Nice to see you all. But, I mean, how long ago was it? 10 minutes before I went live? I got this thing on my screen about Mar-a-Lago raid. And at first glance, as they always do, it looked like, oh, this is something bad for Trump. But hours before, I saw, as I'm sure many of you have seen, the posts that have been being put out. Julie Kelly put out a couple of posts on it, along with a lot of other people, and put up copies of the protocols and whatnot for the search warrant, where they were authorized to take people down, if you know what I mean. And they probably had the same thing for what they did to Roger Stone and everybody else that they've raided, you know. DEAD, Lee Force. That's right, Angela. They were just praying for a slip up. Miss Mendersue, how you doing? Yeah, MS Motorsports, how you doing? So with this stuff going on, I said, oh, I got a notification on top of my phone, you know, news stories, which turn out to be crap. But it gives me an idea of what way they're going to go with their manipulations. Yeah, there's a lot of document releases. So I'm thinking, wow, you know, the mainstream media going to talk about how they were authorized. You're talking about Secret Service agents being there. They had the authority to pick locks, go through other residences at Mar-a-Lago. What do they talk about? Guests? You know, they can be right brutal. So thing pops up, says, Mar-a-Lago, the judge in Mar-a-Lago case wonders something. And I'm like, wonders what? So I click on it, right? It says, allegations were revealed in a newly unsealed court filing Tuesday. Special counsel Jack Smith appears to have suspected additional efforts by former President Donald Trump to obstruct the government's investigation into his handling of classified documents. What? Nothing about what everybody's talking about? Something about Jack Smith? Not a word about what I showed the other night about what his real name was. Okay? It goes on. It's all in capital letters. A newly unsealed court filing says, judge questioned how Trump didn't notice classified marked documents in his bedroom. Okay, I got to click on these articles because what the hell are they talking about? If I was just the average Joe that read those headlines like a lot of people do, I would be thinking Jack Smith was on the offensive. Judge Cannon is questioning Donald Trump, right? Well, I click on the article. Well, no, here's another one that came. Another one. Trump's attorneys found classified documents in his bedroom months after the raid. That's from Axios. And then Politico's same headline, coordinated, right? Coordinated crap coming out of the mainstream media. So I said, well, I'm interested in this, what the judge is saying, right? Because Judge Cannon has adjourned the court for now. She's going to be coming out with something. So they're trying to make it seem like, oh, Jack's come up with something new, got them all going, oh, yeah. Here we got him now. All right, let's see what this article said. By Ken Dilianian and Dareh, D-A-R-E-H, Gregorian. Okay. The judge who oversaw special counsel, the judge who oversaw, that's the first thing that got me. Not the judge overseeing. See how they do? But millions of people read the headline and think it's something going on now in the courts. Okay. Let's see what else kind of crap they're pulling. The judge who oversaw special counsel Jack Smith's investigation into Donald Trump's retention of classified records questioned how the former president could have not noticed that he had highly sensitive documents in his bedroom in Florida. A newly unsealed ruling shows. The March 2023 ruling, a year old news, okay, by U.S. District Judge Beryl Howell, pertains to documents found at Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate in December 2022 after Trump's attorneys told authorities in June there were no classified files at his residence, and after the FBI executed a search warrant that August turned up over 100 classified documents, some marked secret and top secret. Well, I didn't print out the whole article because what it is, it's a red herring. It's thrown up there to distract people from what is really, they use the term all the time, bombshell. Walls are closing in. Well, the walls are closing in on Jack Smith, and they're not talking about. And the bombshell is that they were ready to unalive people at Mar-a-Lago, and they say Merrick Garland approved it. So they throw these news articles up about a judge who's not even involved anymore in a filing that was done a year ago, and act like it's hot news, and not one word about what Julie Kelly and everybody else is putting out, and the questions that have come up about Jack Smith. Unreal. Chaos Cleanup, how you doing? Roland, how you doing? Doc's here. Let's see. How you doing, Doc? Care. Nice to see you. Yeah, it's BS, Melinda said. Mr. Kibler, how you doing? I know what BS stand for. Been stupid. That's what they've been. Been stupid. Isn't that what it stands for? Yeah. That's what it stands for. We're a family channel. So anyway, I was watching yesterday the Robert Goya going over the happenings in the courtroom when Costello was up there. I talked about Costello giving the judge a side eye and all that, and the judge having a fit and dressing down Costello. Well, they actually kept typing, and it was in the court record. And Costello testified more today. Very, very limited. Now, I heard from multiple people that there were 2 attorneys on the jury. I don't believe they're alternates. Then I heard somebody else say that earlier today that it was 3 attorneys on the jury. That's going to be very interesting. Yeah, Mark Hand should be in jail after the crappy poll. That's right, Roland. And that is going to be interesting. Trump came out in a gold tie and went over, that there's no crime and this and that. But he said something. He said, we're going to have a long break for some reason from the freezing cold courtroom. And turns out Mercon is taken under advisement about the jury instructions, mainly a request to just dismiss the charges or to give an instruction to the jury that the prosecution has not met their burden. Never mind to say Trump's guilty of anything, but they have met the burden to define a crime. So Trump said something interesting. Well, I'm paraphrasing, that he's going to either have to go along with that, just throw the whole case the hell out, do the world a favor, and I'm not kidding, the world, or he's going to try to contrive something, concoct, finagle, whatever you want to use. They're going to make it kind of like a grab bag. You just reach in the bag, and whatever the hell you pull out of there, you can call it a crime. So Steve Whitaker was up, and he's interesting. That's very interesting, especially, he was acting attorney general after after Jeff Sessions resigned. He was acting attorney general. And Comey, came out of the woodwork. When have you seen him in a while? He's been laying low. Comey or corny, whatever. Now, for new people tuning in thinking I'm a crazy person, babbling crazy stuff, proven fact, when people were making FOIA requests concerning James Comey, and when also Durham and other prosecutors or investigators, kind of like the Inspector General, were searching for documents with Comey's name in there, it was discovered that many, many, many documents did not come up in the search because they had adjusted the font to where if they typed the name Corney, Corney. Now, to all you seasoned folks out there that have been knowing this for years, bear with me because I'm talking to, in the hopes there's someone out there that tunes in, waking up and wanting to know what's going on. And the font was such that the R and the N side by side look like an M to the casual reader in court filings or whatever, agency memos, whatever. But when you put the word Comey in on a FOIA request, the computer didn't generate the documents that were spelled Corney. It was done to evade investigation and to evade Freedom of Information Acts. That's what a FOIA request is. FIOA. Okay, FOIA, Freedom of Information Act. So when you hear the word FOIA, that's what that means. So he's one of the first ones Trump got rid of, Comey. And he told everybody how scared he was, He took his notes from an official meeting with Donald Trump that were considered classified, and he gave them to a professor at Harvard. And the problem with that was you don't give notes on a private meeting with the President of the United States to some communist-leaning Harvard professor or anybody else for that matter. It's against the law. He got out of it though, or so he thinks, because he said he had the ability, before he got fired, he had the ability to deputize, so to speak, this professor. And I believe it was Lawrence Tribe, who I've said many times was going to be looking at some big trouble. He's gotten on news services saying that Trump needed to be arrested. He'd been saying for a long time. And giving pseudo-legal, I won't say advice, legal opinion on the public airways that are knowingly false, participating in this lawfare psychological operation. So anyway, since all that stuff happened, Comey got fired. First one to go was McCabe. And don't hear nothing from him. Well, he pops up. And I saw some creators make videos that Comey was essentially putting out an order, okay, in dog whistle language about what a threat Trump is and how he's going to destroy democracy, blah, blah, blah. And he said, I heard him, I played the interview, and he said that what Trump would do was get an acting attorney general. And I thought it was interesting. Once he gets elected and when he gets in office, he's going to appoint an acting attorney general. And I thought that's interesting because Whitaker was acting attorney general for a period of time. And so there's just a lot of parts and pieces come together, blasts from the past, and the average person is going to look at Comey, and the memory they'll have, the shadow memory, just something dark back there because people are living their lives, going to work, not having the wherewithal, the time, or the inclination because of trust, okay, in government officials. They're going to think, oh, that's the guy that mean old Trump fired. That mean old Trump had skeered, and nothing else. They won't know anything about what we just discussed. Tennessee, how you doing? Let me see. About the corny, okay, Lawrence Tribe. Google account, how you doing? Jet lag, how you doing? David, thank you. Appreciate it. Stephanie, CJ. Boy, everybody's coming in good. So, anyway, I'll mute my mic. I have a sip of coffee. Anyway, that's just a quick rundown, not nearly all the intrigue that we know. That will be coming up in the past. I mean, we could talk about McCabe, we can talk about Peter Strzok and Lisa Page. You know, all that stuff is going to erupt onto the scene, especially when they put out communications where they were actively discussing with many other people about harming or worse Mr. T and his family members. That's going to be the smack in the face. So they're deploying things right now, counter stories. They had to dream up. Whoa, gosh, what are we going to put up about Trump and the documents case to write something about that case other than the authorization to use lethal force during the raid. And the fact that the photos were staged, okay, they went around with like wildfire over a year ago. Look at how Trump had them all sloppily thrown around, classified, top secret, just laying there on the ground in a bathroom. Look where he tore a piece of paper up and threw it in the toilet. All staged. What do we do? Well, we'll come up with some story that a year old, that Beryl Howell asked a question about Trump's bedroom a year ago. And we'll put it up like, Jack's got something else on Trump and the judges got questions too. Well, that's all bullshit. It's all old stuff. And Jack, Herr, H-E-R, Howerman, we're going to be finding out more. And Jack Posobiec put up just what I was thinking, truth. Has anybody noticed that the international criminal courts that put out this so-called warrant about Bibi Netanyahu, that's the same place Jack Smith was working at out of the Netherlands? Yeah, I knew that too. Of course, they put out a warrant on somebody from Hamas at the same time, so they would act like they're impartial. But they're all bark and no bite. But that's where Jack hailed from after he was, for some reason, practicing law here in the United States, not even a U.S. citizen, according to that one post I put up. And then had his case thrown out 9-0 by the Supreme Court. What was that case about? Let me think. Oh, right. Oh, Republican governor of Virginia, Bob McDonnell, destroyed his career, had him removed from office. Virginia was Republican, Republican, Republican before this fiasco between Doug Wilder years ago as a Democrat. After that, it was Republican governors. They got rid of Bob McDonald and they put in Terry McAuliffe. How'd they get Bob McDonald out? They used a hitman like Jack Smith. Not like Jack Smith, they actually used Jack Smith. And it all got thrown out as BS. But the damage was done. The damage was done. I looked up witch hunt. I talked to you guys about this in the 17th letter, right? Mr. T says it all the time. He's also said how it is ringing a death knell for a politician. An indictment, a subpoena, allegations. How many times has he said, really good people say, I'm going to be with my family? So I said, okay, well, let me look up the word witch hunt. Guess who comes up? I'll tell you. A conservative lady that was in the news quite a bit and being attacked quite a bit, and eventually ran out of office, was kind of fighting her own battle, nobody coming to help her, nobody from the uniparty, media totally against her, hadn't done a damn thing wrong. Michelle Bachmann. You all remember Michelle Bachmann? I think that's one of the people Trump is referring to when he talks about good people getting driven out. Well, what did Michelle Bachmann do? She started questioning MB. 2 words, MB. Muslim is the first word, and the second word is brotherhood. And it's infiltration into the government, influence over the government. And we know Kerry's family. We know, I won't get into all that. I got other things to talk about. But somebody put in there years ago, about 4 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. Now I get why Trump is using the term witch hunt. Because of what they did to Michelle Bachmann. And Bob McDonald and countless other politicians. Ted Stevens out of Alaska. We'll talk about that another time too. Another suspicious plane crash. So I'm bringing that up because of this helicopter business with this power shakeup in Iran. The Iranian news services and a lot of people blogging, they still have some freedom over there on their internet, are pointing the finger right at the Supreme Ayatollah's son. Not Mossad, not Israel, but the Supreme Ayatollah's son, who, by the way, also wears a black turban, supposedly a direct descendant of Muhammad. So McCain was tied up with him. The MB, okay. Kerry's tied up with him. Peter Strzok's tied up with him. A lot of people in the government are tied. John Brennan, he's a Muslim and has ties with the MB. So we're seeing that gel and starting to come into people's minds, but it's not going to be pointed out by the news. We've got to be the ones that have got to discuss it. So I'll put up. I might have to do exclusive Rumble or something to be able to go over these posts and get a backup device so I can watch the chats. Maybe I'll do it that way and go over the posts. I don't know. But it's very clear. It becomes very clear. They put up articles and a link to different things. But we're seeing this blast from the past really get tied together. Now, Mercan, I don't know how much the jury was able to see through his temper tantrum, but I heard from court observers that some members of the jury were visibly incredulous, and not only from his temper tantrum, but from Cohen's testimony. Not all of them by a long shot, because you can bet there's going to be jurors on there. I don't know how many, but there's going to be some jurors on there that are going to be like them women beating sticks in the woods and screaming and yelling. Doesn't matter what they show. Jesus Christ himself could come down and talk about Trump being a great guy, and they would still try to do him in. That's just my feeling on the matter. I'm just looking at the chats. Who was on Governor Huckabee? Oh, my chats froze. Wait a minute. Get these chats going. There we go. Oh no, Lori, they the Jewish and Arabic Muslim faith, they got to be in the ground in 24 hours. Yeah, they're ready. I mean, there wasn't no planning behind it. That's just everybody. Hi, Ravenswigs, how you doing? Yeah, that wasn't pre-planned. That's part of their faith. You got to be in the ground in 24 hours. BRSH. NR, I can't pronounce it, but how you doing? Busy, busy, busy. Okay. All right, have a cup of coffee and rest your nerves. Speaking of that, Rudy Giuliani put out a coffee line. And now we know why Rudy got raided. Remember we were talking about that, how they went to his birthday party at 11 o'clock at night, an hour before their time ran out? Because Mercan is in this odd position. The defense rested today. And the only thing left is closing arguments. Trump didn't take the stand. And, Midas Trash Network put out they're ahead of that. They're trying to think of every damn talking point they can to feed their lunatics, People are going to notice. And if Trump doesn't testify, what's he hiding? This was 5 days ago, They put up stuff like that. So Trump doesn't testify. They're going to be bringing that up again. Why should he? He's under gag order, number one. If he got treated half as badly as Costello did today, it wouldn't be worth getting up there on the stand. Every question your attorney attempts to ask, Mercan with sustains objections to shut down the questions. No, it'd be foolish for him to get up there. It'd be counterproductive. Why? And I think rational people on the jury could see that. Not the screaming and yelling stick bangers in the woods. Let me see. Stephanie's here. Awaken Trillium, how you doing? Where'd Stephanie go? Oh, I'm just trying to keep up. Yeah, it's about to hit the fan, Ravens. Ha ha ha. Yeah, we're going to be ready for it too. Oh, the bottom line, folks, they're not going to just give up. They're not going to just say, "Oh, we lost the election." There were a couple articles that I've had for some days that I'm just that their existence is enough for me to bring it up. About the post office is making big changes on in their main delivery hubs, like around Pennsylvania. And I'll pull those articles up and read them. They're way down in my feed, but it's caused a brouhaha, and the Postmaster General's involved. And my instinct is that they're getting ready, right? They're getting ready, and it's an issue I'm not allowed to talk about on this particular platform. But they're getting ready, and they want to eliminate problems they had the last time, like that truck driver who got up on a press conference, okay, and said what happened to a trailer full of you-know-whats, pieces of paper that hadn't been filled out and ended up mysteriously disappearing. And then we didn't hear much from him again. But Donald Trump mentioned that young man by name. So they're reworking their main hub delivery systems. And I believe it's expressly for that reason. So if my little pea brain catches it, I'm sure there are people with a lot more on the ball than me that have spotted it also. But the press got thrown out of the courtroom when Costello incurred Mercan's ire because he was looking at him. He might have been just trying to figure out that mascara tattooed around his eyeballs. I don't know. But Mercan took exception to it. And he did say when he got cut off by prosecutor, he did say geez or something like that. But anyway, the press did kick a little bit when they were getting thrown out. And the press, it turns out they have their own attorney in the courtroom and tried to make an objection to the court, and it wasn't allowed. And they got thrown out. If Trump would have done that, remember all the battles at the White House with Jim Acosta and all these rude reporters that would ask insulting, baseless questions and refuse to give back the mic and really make asses of themselves, but heroes in the eyes of the stick bangers. And with Mercan, they just got punked. They just got thrown out of the courtroom. And I guess they were assured that they would get a transcript. But it just goes to show you a double standard with the press. We all know that. So what happened when the press got thrown out is that Mercan told Costello about decorum and how he was going to be, his testimony would be stricken if he tried to stare him down or said anything inappropriate in the future, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And they brought everybody back in. And he didn't get much in, but the flavor was there, okay? And to borrow from another case, the odor of mendacity, okay, had already been released in that courtroom about Cohen. But what an interesting legal analysis. They were going to bring in a guy. What was his last name? Carter, I think, who was an attorney for whatever board it is that oversees federal election law. And he was going to testify that whatever happened with the payment to Miss Daniels, even if it was for the campaign, not for Trump to protect his family or a typical non-disclosure agreement fee, even if it was for the campaign, it wasn't illegal. Judge Merchan wouldn't allow that in. So all you're left with is Cohen saying, I'm guilty of breaking finance laws. I admit it, and I'm regretful, and I'm asking for forgiveness. He's saying he's guilty of something that isn't even a crime. And the psychological effect on a layperson, especially on the jury, would be, oh, a crime was committed. See how they manipulated the testimony? That this felon, this perjurer, this liar, this larcenous individual can make a statement, I did something breaking the law and I'm sorry. And the defense can't come up and say, you didn't break a law with what they're claiming. You did when you stole Trump's money. But the only legal opinion they're getting on what that payment represented is from Cohen, which is false. They're not allowed to put up that's reversible error, but they don't care about reversible error because their brains, if they can con a jury or if they can give a hostile jury a nail to hang their hat on, and Trump is found guilty, it's going to take months and months and months to ever get heard, the appeals. And then if it's overturned on reversible error, who cares? That's what they're thinking. Oh, is it up to 270,000 sealed indictments now, Ravens? Hi, Wanda. Yeah, Canada. The guy's name was Smith. That I'm looking at your comment, Tennessee. There was a representative of the Federal Election Commission that wanted to testify and has put out tweets or whatever, X's, saying, hey, they didn't want me to, they wouldn't allow me to testify, but there was no crime, no matter what. Because in 2016, a candidate could finance his own campaign, put out how much money he wanted, however he wanted to. Now, I believe his name was Carter. Hi, Ian. Well, they're not planning on hiding, Wanda. They're going to stay right where they're at. And that's what's got me wondering. I mean, well, I'm not really wondering, but what caused it out of the blue to come out? Biden agreeing to 2 debates, and then 24 hours later, it's up to 4 debates. And all the news services are like, yeah, we'll do it. I mean, one out of Fox, CNN, whatever, they're all lined up and ready to go out of the blue. And what was the impetus for that? I don't think they're going to happen. I think there's a good chance something's going to happen before even the first debate. And then they can say, I didn't run away. I wasn't afraid of debating. Hi, Lone Wolf. Let's see, evening. You're right on time. Yeah, you can always go back and watch the beginning. So they can say, well, we were ready to, and is it going to be where Trump is convicted and put on house arrest in Mar-a-Lago, or actually, placed under arrest in Rikers? It's not my fault he got locked up. It's not my fault what did that one guy say, catching all these charges? So there was some fireworks, not as much as Costello, but Trump's defense attorney did push back when he was asking about jury instructions. And of course, the jury's not around, and they're doing a back and forth, and they're trying to get these definitions to a jury. One of them was that the predicate crime, air quotes, crime, isn't even criminal. It's a civil matter. The campaign business. But they wouldn't allow the expert to come in and say it wasn't even a civil offense, much less a criminal offense. And Mercant says, your arguments are disingenuous. And the attorney outside of the eye shot of the jury said, you're calling me disingenuous? He got a little ruffled. And what the average person is not going to know, that what they're doing is trying to make a civil infraction that never happened, an accusation of a civil infraction, have the same weight as a criminal act, a misdemeanor criminal act. Then they're taking that and bootstrapping a felony to it, which is out of their purview as state officials. They have nothing to do with federal election law. Nothing. But they're attaching it to, well, the misdemeanor would be, I suspect, entering something in a ledger on the wrong line, calling it legal fees. And I wanted to hear the question, well, what do you call it if it wasn't legal fees? As I said in my past broadcasts, payment to a tramp. There's no line for tramp payments. Where do you want to enter this? So, anyway, no crime, no convictions. That's right. But Mercant was babbling, well, we're going to let the jury decide, because technically the statute says unlawful. Unlawful. Well, you can hang your mailbox on the side of your house in a way that doesn't comply with what the mailman wants. And that's technically unlawful until he says, hey, can you put it at whatever height and whatever, Oh, okay, then it's lawful. That doesn't mean it's criminal. But Mercan's saying, well, the jury will decide that if unlawful qualifies as something to convict a human being of and put them in jail for the rest of their life. So, yeah, Whitaker said that it's going to be lasting damage to the judicial system, regardless of what happens. The actions that they've taken, the lawfare they've exhibited up to this point, what they're getting away with, basically, is causing lasting damage. I don't know if you can put the term permanent or not. But I still think this is going to go through a process and be stuck under the noses of different judges at different levels. They're going to get as many attorneys involved. And I heard somebody use the magic number 17. That's how many prosecutors or assistant to the prosecutor attorneys came, I believe, about 3 hearings ago. They all showed up in force. Getting them all on the record and getting their names so we can flush out this system. Not on suspicion, not on supposition, but prima facie. Right here it is. They knowingly engaged in this lawfare. They knowingly interfered with election. They knowingly misconstrued statutes. They knowingly hid evidence, manipulated evidence, and even with Judge Mercan, tampering with witnesses, interfering, having his own little goofball questions on the side, putting a fear of God in people before they can, like if I say one word that's not right, what's he gonna do that he doesn't like? That's right, Outlandish. How you doing? I want to see it too. I want my big event. I want my big event. That is, and they can go out in the woods and bang sticks and scream and yell till their eyeballs fall out of their head. I hope you guys hit the like button. I forgot again. Here I am, almost an hour gone by and hadn't said a word about the like button. But that helps the video get around. So anyway, Christina Bobb put out, WTF, they are prepared to KILL me, a few dozen FBI agents versus me, and they were ready to KILL me? What in the world happened to the United States of America? FBI was authorized to use deadly force and classified documents. Search at Mar-a-Lago. Well, Trump, before I went live, I got screenshots. He put up at least 12 people that won in their primaries, all endorsed by him: Austin Scott, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Rich McCormick, Mike Collins, Andrew Clyde, Buddy Carter, Rick Allen, Barry Loudermilk, James Comer, Brett Guthrie, Hal Rogers, Andy Barr. All of them won their primaries that Trump endorsed. Hi, Chris. Knowingly, that's right, Juana. Knowingly, knowingly, knowingly. And this guy here, Norm Eisen, keep that name in the back of your mind. Norm Eisen. Michael Cohen and Norm Eisen were he's an attorney with the prosecutor's office, and he admitted, this guy Norm Eisen admitted that he had drafted, some people are saying 10, as many as 10 impeachments before Trump even took office. And Michael Cohen went to him with the 2016 hush money payment. And I believe this Eisen guy was the one who told Cohen, you plead guilty to this stuff so we can tie it to Trump, or we're going to arrest your wife. We're going to arrest you right now, today, and we're going to go with these heavier charges. They had him on a lot of other real crimes. I mean, did they know about the larceny of the Trump Corporation and let him get by with it? Statute of limitations, maybe that's run out. I don't know. But was that part of his deal, that he gets away with larceny? I'm going to get me some Rudy Giuliani coffee. And people are talking about having Tucker Carlson do the debates. They're going to try to petition to get Tucker Carlson to do the debates. That ain't going to fly, and I'll tell you why. Not that I don't like Tucker Carlson, but they announced today that he is going to be doing a program, news program, opinion program, whatever, on Russian television. Russian television. I got a screenshot. It just says Tucker, and underneath it, it's got, I guess, how you spell Tucker in Russian. So I guess I love translators, and boy, I tell you what, talk about exciting times, especially for the Russian people. Alan Dershowitz, he's coming out. Yeah, I'm looking at some of and Klaus Schwab, did you hear about him stepping down? Klaus Schwab, he stepped down as leading up the World Economic Forum. And the Babylon Bee put out a spoof, and it says, Klaus Schwab retires to spend more time with his lizard family on planet Zarkon 7 while he's wearing that goofy outfit. Yeah, and another thing Julie Kelly put out was the inventory that the FBI had, where they went in and photographed Barron's room. They took like 100 and some photos of Barron's room and Melania's room, detail in the closet, or, everything. Just disgusting. Oh, you think Klaus is gone, Ravens? Worm food? Yeah, I want to see him in front of the world going through a trial. Dan Scavino put a picture of a jet going straight up in the air, a video. And he also posted, Trump is going to flip New York in all capital letters. And I'm going to read this to y'all. Citizens Free Press. The lines are drawn between Western culture, okay, and the East, basically against this woke crap, all right? But a Prague newspaper, quote, this came from the Czech Republic. Someone over there has got it figured out. It was translated into English from an article in a Prague newspaper. Quote, the danger to America is not Joseph Biden, but a citizenry capable of entrusting a man like him with the presidency. It would be far easier to limit and undo the follies of a Biden presidency than to restore the necessary common sense and good judgment to a depraved electorate willing to have such a man for their president. Depraved electorate. The problem is much deeper and far more serious than Mr. Biden, who is a mere symptom of what ails America. Blaming the Prince of Fools should not blind anyone to the vast confederacy of fools that made him their prince. The American Republic can survive a Biden, who is, after all, merely a fool. It is less likely to survive a multitude of fools, such as those who made him president. And I hope my mic didn't go out while I was reading that, because I went out of studio for a while. So that's yeah, people need to read it, stuff like that, and let it sink in. You know, I was watching videos. Yeah, here's Comer. He's a threat, Corny. He's a threat to the rule of law in America. Boy, he's got more nerve than a bum tooth. More nerve than a bum tooth. But I was watching videos about these, the capabilities of some of these drones now. And they're using robot infantry over there in Ukraine. You know, they're four-wheeled. They can carry 30 kilograms of explosives. And they can go over rough terrain. They go right up to a trench and drop down inside of it. And it's self-sacrificing. Kaboom. And very hard to hit. And the drones that they had footage of over in Israel is like something out of a Star Wars movie. You remember when the evil guy sent those little black spheres to go look for the princess and Qui-Gon and anyway. They would go around and look down the streets and zing around in the air with cameras. And, well, the footage I saw, this drone looks right down an alley. High resolution picture. You see four guys sitting there with rifles, crouching in a narrow alley. They throw rocks at this drone. And you've got the point of view from the drone. You're seeing rocks coming at the camera, and they back the drone out of the alley, go up in the air over top of them, and drop ordnance right down. You can see it like you're there, standing there. And I don't see how they stand a chance. And the same with the trenches in Ukraine. They got one video. I got a screenshot of it, but I didn't get a copy of the video. They had a house with the window open, and you see this drone just go right in the window, flies right in the window, and about 1 second after it enters the window, the whole house goes up. The roof flies up in the air, the walls fall down. They can just fly right in the window, right in to a trench where you got a little door where you go down underneath some logs and dirt you built up over your trench, thinking, well, this will help. No, they just take a drone and fly it right in your little doorway, and boom, and you're done. I don't, there's article after article and report after report that the Russians are just basically walking in. I discussed that the other night, but boy, I was reading news articles today, how the streets are, empty, just like we saw. People aren't going to work. It's like cities are like ghost towns because they don't want to get drug out there. Well, the other thing too, and Trump made a note of this: 1,000,000 barrels of oil. Biden is releasing 1,000,000 barrels of oil from the Northeast Strategic Petroleum Reserve. And here it is. Disgusting, Trump says. Biden releasing 1,000,000 barrels of gasoline from the Northeast Reserve in a bid to lower prices at the pump. Not oil, gasoline, according to Trump's tweet or truth. And that was right after, about an hour after I saw come over the wires this little report. Russia delivered 10.8 million tons of oil to China in March, close to the historical record of June of 2023. This is a 71% more than the second largest supplier. China continues to build up important strategic reserves, while the U.S. used a significant part of its reserves in 2022 and 2023 to calm the markets. Prices have risen and it is now unable to replenish the oil. I mean, an hour after that was posted, they announced that they were going to take $1 million out of the Northeast reserves. Or they would have mentioned it in this article I just read to you. Here you go. Journalist Tucker Carlson became the host of a show on Russian television. Former Fox News host Tucker Carlson began hosting his program on the Russia 24 TV channel. It was called Tucker. Let me see what's going on in the chats. A brain virus, potato head. Yeah, it's going to be a bumpy ride, Cass. Yeah, Debbie, corny's been exposed, but just to us. I mean, the average person would not know what you're talking about if you called James Comey corny. But we know all about it. There were thousands of documents that were hidden away because of that manipulation of the font and misspelling of his name. And the other thing here, too, about that helicopter crash. Remember when Soleimani got it? I talked about that last night. They identified him, and Huckabee mentioned it. They identified him by his gaudy ring. Remember? Well, today, they got pictures out in the field there where the wreck occurred. And I got a screenshot of it. A gaudy ring. Iranian President Raisi's ring found at the site of a helicopter crash in the mountains. Today in Iran, there's a farewell and funeral for those killed in the crash, a 5-day mourning period. But anyway, it's a big, kind of like a scarab ring with Arabic writing on it. And it's very similar to the one that they identified Soleimani with. So there's some, especially after I showed that picture of him holding a photograph of a big portrait photograph of Soleimani at the UN. So here he's met the same fate, and they're showing his ring off too. Yeah, there's that Comey. So anyway, let's see what's going on in the chats. Hunter's trial's coming up soon. They put out a little story on that the special prosecutor is going to be calling up his ex-wife, his brother's wife, as a witness in his upcoming trial. So if that's about the gun charges, I don't know. MSNBC, how Michael Cohen's past lies make him a more credible witness. I already told you how Lawrence Tribe was saying, well, he just got his bonus money. He should have gotten it. He didn't get. That's why he stole the $30,000. Well, now MSNBC puts this garbage out. No matter how much Donald Trump's defense tries to discredit his former lawyer, the fact remains that he lied to protect his client. So anyway, well, it seems people prefer the picture shows more. We shall see. Oh, I have to see that, the mirror image. I saw a video that said the secret hidden in Charles's portrait, and I didn't watch it, because I know they're evil. I know they're Satanists, and I've talked about this in the past. They use codes. They think they're have some supernatural powers through dates and whatever, symbols, chants. We're told to stay away from sorcery, false prophets, all that kind of stuff. So I don't care. But, it's interesting. I'll take a look at it, but I just didn't want to take my time right that moment. But yeah, I'm sure there are messages in Baphomet. Oh, yeah. Well, they can worship what they want. They're the ones who, for them, it will be worse than those of Sodom and Gomorrah. Oh, well, thank you, Angela. Hit the like on 2 separate devices. Ha, ha, ha. Oh, you got an online T-shirt shop. What's that? You sell T-shirts, or you make them? Outlandish. I'll give you good ideas to make T-shirts. I think they'll sell. Who's going to get 15 years wearing orange? Terry? Ha ha. I think some of them are getting more than that. Hunter, I'm thinking that is going to, if it's the gun charges, it's like Clarence Thomas was saying. If somebody gets convicted of a felony, say they write a bad check and it's a felony, They lose their right to keep and bear arms. I mean, a constitutional right. I'm not saying Hunter Biden wrote a bad check, but I'm giving you an example. Can you take away a constitutional right, a Second Amendment right, for something like writing a bad check because somebody called it a felony? No, but they do it. You lose your rights to keep and bear arms over some goofball felonies. Oh, you do? Got lots of designs no one buying? Try, if they're political, a lot of these sites where you can sell stuff is so biased. But if you want to put a link in so people can check you out, or the name of it so people can type it in. I mean, like when I couldn't put I can't put in outside links. But when I wasn't allowed to put in the Buy Me a Coffee link, I just told people, go to buymeacoffee.com, search Mountain Man. So what is the name? Do you have Teesprings make it, or who do you have make it? They're only supposed to go by one constitution, Debbie. Ha ha ha. The one we all live under. It's something that I've been wanting to talk about. I wanted to get an attorney on here and talk about at the turn of the century, from 1913 through 1927 or so, there were some landmark actions that really crippled us, even though it's taken 100 years for the comeuppance. But unfortunately, Printify. Okay, that's interesting. Are they like Teesprings? They supply the shirts and everything. But anyway, there are some landmark things. I mean, look at Prohibition. That was an amendment to the Constitution. An amendment to the Constitution that was rescinded. Prohibition wasn't a law. Prohibition was an amendment to the Constitution, and it gave rise to the biggest crime wave, domestic crime wave. But there's a lot more than that beside Prohibition. And I believe all that stuff is going to be gotten rid of, and we're going to go back to the original meanings and interpretations. No more of this lawfare and twist and crap around. Well, that's pretty neat. Well, what's the name of it, Outlandish? Put it in the chats. Just don't put in a separate the .com so they don't think it's an outside link. Where do you go? Outlandish Patriot and then .com, or put some spaces in there. Where they can go look at your T-shirts. Where do they got to look at your T-shirts at? Let me see. Yeah, that'd be a good one, Miss Minister. Knowingly, knowingly, knowingly. Put it all through. Well, we can't do that, Miss Minister, because we put it on top of each other. If you put knowingly and then put knowingly underneath and then put knowingly underneath that, the first thing people are going to holler. Guess what I'm getting at, Miss Mendersu? What they're going to holler. I would just put it once, knowingly, because there is a post 17 that says it one time in capital letters, knowingly. But if you put it in there 3 times, they're going to holler about it being exactly outlandish. But go ahead and take that out, outlandish. That's still too close. I would have just used the number 3 and then case. So go ahead and remove that, outlandish. No biggie, no biggie. Stuff that doesn't bother us, they read into it, like you give the OK symbol, like we've been doing for 100 years. Hey, okay, everything's okay. Oh, you're a supremacist. I don't know where the hell they got that from. Just part of destroying our culture. All right, folks. Let me see. Let's see if I. We got. Yeah, a lot of people talking about maritime law, admiralty law. Listen, I think that we've gone through this, we've gotten this far. I think there's already a protocol written out as to how we're going to codify certain things that have been misconstrued, like the meaning of the Second Amendment is going to be codified and clarified as to what the meaning of the words were at the time of its writing. So there's no more false interpretations, not just of the Second Amendment, but of a great many other things. So we're going to have a rebirth of our republic. That's what we're getting towards. But we got to overcome the fools. We got to overcome. We got to people can be acting a fool and not even know it. But if they learn, then they're no longer fools. If I'm ignorant about how to rebuild a carburetor, somebody shows me, I'm no longer ignorant. That's why the word ignorant is not a pejorative. That's right, Terry. Walking in faith takes worry away. Fear not. Fear not. Be not afraid. 365 times in the Bible, one for every day of the year. All right, folks. Well, I appreciate you all spending your precious time with me. And Trump is not due in the court is not going to go back in session until next Tuesday. If you can believe that. What is going? Before you go, I remember now. Trump put up a post today, and guess what word he used? Let's see if you all remember. What word did I say we would be hearing a lot of? And I noticed that Trump used it a lot of times. And he used it today. And by the way, there's not going to be any more court action for a week. Let's see if anybody gets it. before y'all go, see what the word is. And I think I'm being proven right. So, the word dun 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 boom boom. Oh no, Awaken Trillium, you had to use zeros. Do me a favor and take that out for me. Take that out for me, Awaken Trillium. Got to use zeros. Oh, Miss Brenda Sue, zeros. anyway, in his truth, he said he put up a video of Joe Biden, and above it, he put one word in quotes: pause. Pause. Guess what happens? The court is paused for a week until next Tuesday. Ain't that something? There you go, Awaken Trillium. Thank you. That's the way you spell it. So he used the word pause today, and next thing you know, no court. Defense already rested. All you need is closing arguments, or it may be some other way of communicating something else. I don't know. But we have noticed that he's used that word in a very interesting way. And when he first brought it up, he said it was important to have this pause, as in a pause in his presidency. We'll hear that term. We'll hear that term with the double O's before this is all over. Believe me, they're not going to go down easy, folks. Just remember that. But the best is yet to come. I appreciate you all spending your precious time with me, and I appreciate everybody that's helped me on Buy Me a Coffee. And Miss Bender Sue, Gary, Mike and Bev, Angie, Norm, Christopher, Lone Wolf, Robin. I hope you're out there, Robin. And Wanda's helped out too. So I appreciate it, every one of you. You all hang in there. I probably won't Wednesdays. I don't usually broadcast. I'll probably see you Thursday, unless something big happens. Yeah, KNS, if you want this logo without the white eyeballs, Cash Patel sells them. Go to him on Truth and then Social and look in his merch, and you'll see this. Okay, KNS? Cash Patel sells this merch, or very close to this. All right, folks. You all, if you want a t-shirt with the mountain, the Punisher with the Trump hair, Cash Patel, go to his merch section. All right, folks. Thank you for joining me. You all have a great night. I'll be seeing you soon. This is Mountain Man, over and out.